The Whispered File. Military occupation of the Richelieu. In late November of 1837, a British colonel named Gore marched into the Richelieu Valley with orders to crush a rebellion that was tearing apart the Canadian colonies. What he found when he arrived would set off a chain of events that no official report could quite explain. The Richelieu region, a ribbon of French-Canadian villages strung along a river northeast of Montreal, had become the heartland of the insurgency. Weeks earlier, a British force under Colonel Wetherell had moved against the town of St. Charles, clashed with armed rebels, and then withdrawn. Now the question hung in the cold autumn air. Had the rebels regrouped, or had they fled? Gore's column moved out with enough soldiers to hold a line. Intelligence suggested the insurgents had retreated further south to Saint Denis, where they were supposedly fortifying positions and rallying the local peasantry to their cause. The whole countryside seemed to be arming itself. In Montreal, the British garrison braced for a broader uprising. But when Gore's force pushed into the Richelieu Valley, something odd happened. They found almost no one to fight. The villages were eerily quiet. The rebels had vanished, not defeated, not scattered in panic, but gone. What followed was a methodical occupation. British troops moved through town after town, establishing control, posting sentries, securing supply lines. The local population watched in silence. There were no pitched battles, no ambushes, no coordinated resistance, just an army moving through empty streets. But then came the burnings. As the occupation tightened, farmhouses and buildings suspected of harboring rebels went up in flames. The destruction was systematic, and something stranger still. Across the border in Vermont, sympathetic Americans began organizing. They weren't fighting, not yet, but they were watching. Some were even offering shelter to rebels who managed to slip across the line. When a small skirmish finally did erupt, it ended almost before it started. A group of insurgents was captured. The district fell quiet, occupied, controlled. But the official records raised a troubling question. Where had the rebel force actually gone? They hadn't been defeated. They hadn't surrendered. They'd simply melted away. So here's what no one could answer. Did the insurgents deliberately withdraw to regroup elsewhere? Or did something else scatter them before Gore's column even arrived? And why did so many manage to escape across the Vermont border undetected? What do you think really happened in that valley?